Hello, it's Monday, the 29th of July, and it's actually my daughter's birthday. So happy birthday, Jess. We're all meeting up later, including my 90-year-old mother in tow. Right, let's get on with some astrology. So what we do with these videos, there's daily videos, Monday to Friday, is we look at the astrology in the sky for that day, but also I include a lot of the background and a lot of the theory, or my theory, to do with my astrology, and it probably all goes with this book, actually. So I'll shamelessly show you the book. So The Easy Way to Learn Astrology. It's quite a cheap book. It's only £12 plus postage. I've still got a few copies myself, so if you get hold of me, I can send you a copy, which will be signed, of course, or you can get it from Amazon or all the big bookstores, that kind of thing. But I suppose there are videos exclusively to go with this, so you can properly learn astrology, but also these videos have tidbits in them as well, and different things, because as I look at the heavens every day, these things come up and I think, oh, I must tell them that, I must tell them this. Okay, let's get on with it. So let's share. Right, there we go. And there we are. There's the heavens right now, as it happens. So we have everything above. This is the horizon. Everything above the horizon is in the sky above my head right now. Everything on the other side is on the other side of planet Earth. So if I were able to see it, but I can't because of the glare of the sun. It's such a sunny day. I can't actually see the moon. I'd have to look really carefully. But the moon is still up, and it is going this way. All these planets go this way, so it's going to set soon. But at the moment, it's at 24 degrees of Taurus, and it's going to set, but at the same time, it's moving that way. It moves that way, but goes this way with all the other planets. The moon is very special. And funnily enough, that's exactly what the Egyptians thought. A lot of their hieroglyphs and the Valley of the Kings artwork in those tombs wasn't understandable until Dr. Bernadette Brady realized that it was the moon's movement has its own movement, as well as it obeys the movement, the daily movement, the diurnal movement of the Earth, going around 360 degrees in one day. But also the moon has a different movement. So in that way, she cracked the code to some of the Egyptian hieroglyphs and the star calendars and everything else. A lot of the text that they left us suddenly made sense, particularly at Dendra. Hathor's temple at Dendra. Anyway, enough of that. Just because I'm now studying Egyptology, and not enough that I've got a master's in cultural astronomy and astrology, I can't stop with Egypt. It's just too amazing. There's so much information there. It's just fabulous. So I'm still listening to webinars and seminars by Dr. Bernadette Brady. So there we go. Okay, so moon 24 degrees of Taurus coming up to Uranus. I think I'm going to talk about the element of earth and the element of air today, because these are obviously the next door to each other. Taurus is next to Gemini. And in actual fact, earth always precedes air. So Taurus precedes Gemini, and Virgo precedes Libra, and Capricorn precedes Aquarius. There's a story in that elementally, so I think we'll do that today. And we've got Mars at 5 degrees of Gemini. That's right on top of my sun, actually. My sun is at 5 degrees of Gemini. No wonder I felt so energetic this morning. I've been up since 5. Doing all kinds of things in the garden, and it's really hot out there. So I was thinking, why am I being so enthusiastic? I've just looked at this and thought, oh, I've got Mars helping me along. Okay, and thank you very much. Jupiter is at 13 degrees of Gemini, so I'm enjoying that one too. It's making me feel all buoyant. Right, over here, the sun is at 6 degrees of Leo. And then we have Vesta and Venus and Mercury, getting all pedantic and precise and critical at 2 degrees of Virgo. Right, I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to talk about the element of air and the element of earth, because I've realized that these are another of these elemental mysteries, and really useful for you to learn astrology, to know the background of these things helps so much when it comes to decoding with the psychology. Right, so you can see me again now. I'm not just a little thing in the corner of the screen. So yes, the psychology, and I'm a psychological astrologer. I studied at the Centre for Psychological Astrology in Richmond College in London, 30 years ago. So to the theory of my psychological astrology, a lot of my theory comes from the ancient Greeks. I say the ancient Greeks because the Mesopotamians, Babylonians, the Egyptians, the Indians, they all put in, and Hindus all put in a certain amount. But I think really the theory of the elements was probably a Greek thing. Anyway, so we know we've got 4 elements, right? And so, let's start from the beginning. So we've got the oneness, right? We've got singularity, the oneness, the one energy. And that divides into the duality. So 2 polar opposites, the polarity, and that's yin and yang, or feminine and masculine. And then coming down from feminine and masculine, on the feminine side, we have water and we have earth. On the masculine side, we've got fire and we've got air. So, of those 4 elements, if you can follow me so far, the water of feminine and the fire of masculine are interdimensional energies. So they exist in the multiverse. So we live in a universe, one dimension, universe, one verse, dimensional, one dimension, okay? But there are many other verses. That's the way to say it, a multiverse. Multiverses, probably 11 was the last theory that I looked at. And it's in those multiverses that everything that is incorporeal, mysterious, without structure, without body, it all exists. Now, these are the dimensions that exist all around us. So right now, I can wave my hands around, and I am waving my hands through dark matter and dark energy, the stuff of the other dimensions. The multiverse, right? It's all around us. It's in the same space, but we cannot weigh it or measure it. It isn't structured. It is invisible. It's just pure energy, if you like. It's probably the best way of saying it without getting too technical. Okay. Right. So I'm just going to put water and fire to one side, because the ones that I actually want to talk about today are the earth element and the air element, because although one is masculine, one is feminine, so they really don't have a lot to do with each other. So earth is feminine and air is masculine. Nevertheless, they give astrology and they give this dimension a structure, each in its own way. And the Earth's structure is probably the simplest to understand. So let's just go back to the Big Bang of science. So it's just energy, there's nothing. Then there's a Big Bang, and suddenly this energy has formed itself into lattices or small pockets, which attract through gravity more energy, and it starts to compress and it becomes something corporeal. or structured. So it has width and height and depth and weight. It has mass. Okay. So Earth is probably different to all the other elements in that because we think we can touch it. Now, all right, scientifically, we now know that there is nothing solid in molecules and atoms. They can put big microscopes on it and go right through it. There are no solid bits. So what makes it feel solid is the compactness of all that whizzing energy. Okay. But nevertheless, let's just call it solid because that's what we do. Okay, so there is structure. And in the room around me, just look, everything is structured. The plants are structured. There's a bookcase, I'm loosely structured myself. Anyway, never mind joke. This is Mars. I'm going to blame Mars, right? Okay, now, so that's the earth element. Now let's look at the air element. And this is quite unusual. So I'm going to be talking to you about something quite sort of subtle and complex here. So the air element, granted, is invisible. But what it gives to astrology is it gives a structure, because the air element is actually describing communication, and it structures itself, let's say in the brain, where it forms words. And these words enable a structure to be put down in a book, the Bible, for instance, or even the art of the ancient Egyptians. The air element is describing the ability in a human being to organize itself into memory, suggestions in art, the ability to understand perspective and structure, to get our heads around things, to be able to pass on information, to store information in sequence so that we can go back and find that information. If you look at a computer and how it's organized, how the information of the world library is organized in data and information technology, so that a single human being can access the world library with a mouse, a keyboard, and a monitor, right? This is all using the structure of air, the organization of air, which said to the guy actually that sort of thought of it, a guy called Licklider, that's his surname, Licklider, an American. And so on the back of an envelope, he thinks about the world's information, the world library, and the mouse and the monitor, and so to allow us to access it. So the interface between the two. It's quite amazing, really, that to just sit there and think about that. But he did so using air, because air enables us to consider philosophy, psychology. It gives us a structure, a form to work with. Okay, so there is a structure to air, and that's a masculine element, and there is a structure to earth, and that's a feminine element. Now, I don't think the earth element exists in the multiverse, because it would be quite packed and it would stick out into our dimension, wouldn't it, really? But I just think so. And so I'm sort of happy to go, yeah, earth element is sort of special to us in this universe. Okay, since the Big Bang. That's fine. Now, the air element is actually, at the moment, as far as I'm concerned, revealing itself and therefore changing in how we view it, or I view it astrologically. I can glimpse on the horizon more structure and more information about the air element than I was aware of in the past 30 years. It's revealing itself because it needs to, because as we grow and develop, as we ascend, as we go through this massive change, the age of Aquarius, the rise of the feminine, as we change to take on other dimensions, then we need to have an astrology to help us, to explain it, to help us understand it. Astrology needs to come with us, and it is always there. The structure of astrology is always there. We just need to read it. So if we're going to ascend or gain in information and understanding, then we need the reserves and the ability to do that. We need to know the alphabet. Because it's there for us to read, we need to learn how to read it. So it's like learning computer code, I suppose. I don't know, because I don't know computer code, but it sounds like it could be. Okay, so I've noticed changes to Aquarius particularly. And Gemini doesn't need to change. It's just so junior, so sweet. It's like a little child just learning to speak. Gemini is just intensely curious, forever young, and forever just gathering and gathering and gathering information and storing it everywhere. And then the middle element of our Libra is about the structure of a relationship. Now, a relationship, there's a relationship between a chair and a table. There's a relationship between two people. There's a relationship if they're your business partner, they're your romantic partner, your sexual partner, your whatever partner. You just know each other because you went to school together, you were schoolmates, whatever. They're in your clan, your kith, your tribe. Okay. So what we have there is the air element enabling us to understand the three-dimensional width, depth, height aspect of our lives. Okay. And yeah, as I say, Aquarius is starting to reveal itself. There's a lot of mysterious things that come with Aquarius, and I think actually when it comes to Aquarian sun signs or people with a lot of Aquarius in their chart, and I'm smiling now because I'm going to say something that everybody else always goes, oh, you can't say that, and Aquarians always go, yeah. Aquarians don't like people very much. It's true. They're all right in a football match. But people, it is. Aquarius is a higher vibration. It's around, it's there, and we have used it until now, but it is now revealing itself to be much more, to have much more depth or much more you can travel further in Aquarius than we thought. And funnily enough, Aquarius covers things like space travel, Stargate, Star Trek, all that kind of stuff, scientific fantasy stuff. Anyway, so now you're saying, why have I sat and listened to all this when all I want to know is what is the astrology for today? Oh, right. Okay. Yes. Well, all right. I'll go back to the share and just have a quick look at that. And yes, I'm sorry you've had to listen to all that. Hey, you might find it interesting. You might have learned something. I don't know. Okay, there we go. We're going back to that. So for today, what we need to know is we have got with the moon, being in Earth in Taurus and the sun being in fire in Leo, we have got both of them on the fixed cross, and they are technically in a square. They're square by zodiac sign, because the zodiac sign of Leo is square to the zodiac sign of Taurus. So they're in a state of tension. They have been over the last 24 hours. One is hieing to the security of Earth, and the other is wanting to just blissfully be creative and just enjoy unstructured stuff, whilst the moon wants to enjoy structured stuff. You see, there was a reason why I explained all that. I knew there had to be one somewhere. The 4 points of the fixed cross, by the way, are Leo and Taurus, but also over here Scorpio, where Athena is sitting at the moment, and down there Aquarius, where we've got Pluto. So that's sort of loosely the astrology of today. We've got something which is quite joyous and happy and full of drama and creativity and colour and very vivid, which is Leo. And then we've got Taurus wanting to let's just lie back on the lily pad, float down the river and look at the beauty of nature, and let's have some serenity and peace. Enough of the drama, don't need it, says Taurus. And Leo is going, oh, this is so exciting, it's so hot and it's gorgeous, and let's do all these things, it's just exciting. And Taurus is going, oh. Anyway, there we go. So that's kind of the astrology for today. We have got some gaining aspects, which I'm not going to talk about today, because by the time we get the aspect, you'll have forgotten what I said. So we'll start looking at those tomorrow. How about that? Right, I'm going to stop sharing now, and I'm going to say it's been lovely to talk to you, and I hope that was useful. You never know what you're going to get, do you, really? It must be Mars. Anyway, it was lovely to talk to you, and I'm going to see you tomorrow. Okay, have a lovely day. Okay, bye.